Hey gang, East Coast Lumberjack, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up if you like what you see, and you'll get these as soon as they come out. So this is part 2 of my video series on making a custom axe handle. So as you recall, or maybe you don't, maybe you're just watching this for the first time, listen to that ring. Did you hear that? This is the new bomb I got in the mail from my buddy Emmanuel Boulanger from Quebec, and I'm pretty sure he's going to start selling these babies. So they're quite the axe head, 8 inches across, 2 inch by 1 inch eye, and he wanted something special to put in them. So let me just put that down. Listen to this here. Now I said last time that you can tell how good steel is by the ring. Hear how high the ring is in that? So it's got really good steel in it. So he wants me to send him a couple of handles. So what I've done, I'll set you down here so you don't have to get seasick watching me run you around. So this here is the one that I've made. Okay, it's got a little bit of a sweep in it here. Comes down a little bit big in the handle. We're going to smooth that down a little bit, and it's got a neat shoulder on it here. So basically, it's going to look something like this when it's on there. Okay, so let's see if we can see it here. Okay, so something like that. Okay, so I think it's going to be pretty sweet. Actually, it's a good size axe. So last time I showed you how we make this out. If you didn't see it, just go back and look at part 1, and it'll show you how I made it in the bandsaw. And now what we're going to do, we're going to finish it. So I'm going to show you that, just so everybody can see how we do it. So if you haven't seen any of my, there's lots on here, lots on my channel, and I've gone through some of this before, but this is a tool of my choice. Okay, this is a Lee Valley spoke shave. I just sharpened it. I don't know whether I posted that yet or not. Anyways, I did a video up of how I actually sharpen these. So I sharpened the blade in it last time. I'll have to look that up. It was a pretty good video. So anyways, we're going to use this. The other thing I use is this Stanley SureForm. Okay, that's what it's called, 10-inch SureForm. It's got a convex blade on it, but basically those two tools are what I'm using. Okay, so as long as you don't mind not seeing me, we're good. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to start spoke shaving. Now when I started coming down here, you can see that chatter. That's because when I look at this, I can see that the grain's going the opposite way. So I'm going to flip my spoke shave over. Always go with the grain. Okay, always go with your grain. And what I'll do is I'll smooth this out the whole way across, and then I'm going to basically roll it down here into the front of the handle. So we're going to make that oval shape, okay? We're going to make it oval shaped. And now the grain switches right here, so I'm going to flop it over. I'm going to flop it down a little bit, so we'll tighten up our Castillo just a little bit. Then we're going to come down the back of this. Okay. So we're not cutting a whole lot. If your spoke shave's not cutting really well, they're not deep. If you look at it here, okay, one side's out just a little bit. So I'm going to loosen this nut off, and I'm going to slide that blade down just ever so much, just maybe on those, maybe just a quarter of a turn. Quarter of a turn should be enough. There, and now she's biting nice. Okay, so I'm just gonna mold that all together. Now it's a little bit thick this way, so I'm going to take a little bit off the front, and when I look at this, I'm going to take it off where it's sweeping out a lot more. Okay, so I'm going to straighten that up just a little bit because it is quite. It's quite an aggressive bend. Oops. It's quite an aggressive bend in this handle. So we're going to take that out just a little bit. Thin it down just a smidgen. I've got you can see this pronounced bump here. We need to really smooth that out. Okay, and you just figure out which way okay, switch. Almost impossible there because the grain, because it's got such a bow in it, we're cutting the grain both ways, so I'm going to use my SureForm because it can cut that without worrying about the grain at all. There, make that gradual. There. And this might be too much. I like it, but he may think it's a little bit too much sweep. And if it is, that's no problem. We'll try something a little bit less sweep in it. So let's see if we can. There we go. So we're just going to keep working this. Doesn't take too long with a spoke shave. Okay, so that's got a lot better feel to it now. I can see the grain going the opposite way here, so I'm going to flip my spoke shave around. And again, we're basically just rounding off the corners. Okay? And you can see there's a little divot here. Okay, that's where the bandsaw, when you're running the bandsaw, doesn't always go perfectly smooth, okay? And I try to get as much life out of my bandsaw blades as I can. So because I'm doing that, this one here is starting to get dull, okay? Let's be honest. And I hate using dull tools, but again, it's that compromise between spending a lot of money to make sure you get always new blades on versus, you know, trying to get as much wear out of them as you can. So I'm at that limit right now. And when you are at that limit, when your blade starts getting a little bit dull, you'll find that you should just ease the wood through the bandsaw, and it should cut its way where it wants to go, okay, where you want it to go. When it starts traveling one way and the other, you know it's getting dull. And that's what's happening now. So when you get that little divot there, of course, you got to just spend a little bit more time to smooth that out. And that's what's happening, okay? That's what causes it. So I know, lumberjack, East Coast lumberjack, trade out your blade, and I will. Actually, I'll probably do that before I make my next set of handles. So, and hey, that's something I should probably mention to you. So, I've got a King bandsaw here, 14-inch. It's an industrial one. I bought it almost 25 years ago now, I think. Made a lot of blades, a lot of axe handles with that old bird. We're probably on our way to 10 grand right now, 10K. And I use R&D bandsaw out of Ontario. Okay, so plug for those guys. I've got a bunch of blades here. I got about 10 hanging here. I don't like, after the whole COVID fiasco and you can't get a hold of anything, I'm not going through that again. So I keep a pretty good supply of the things I need to make handles. So if you have a lot of bandsaw blades there, I will probably order some. Now, they're pretty good. I used to get them from Electric Motor Service in town, but I found those ones broke on where they were joined together a fair bit. These guys are pretty tough. From R&D bandsaw, they're pretty good. I use 6 points per inch, and that cuts ash and hickory probably the best. So, a little tidbit for me, if you're into bandsawing and you like a good supplier for your bandsaw blades, those guys do a good job. R&D bandsaw. So let's go back. Let's just take that little bit of a divot out here. Just takes a few strokes with the spoke shave. And always start above it and below it so that you don't have that big dent in there. Okay. So I'm gonna round that back out here. So this is feeling pretty nice now, actually, in my hand. I'm gonna smooth that out the whole way around that corner. There we go. Okay. We'll come up this way again. So we're just smoothing it out, making it one nice complete handle with no No rough edges, all smooth. So I got to keep flopping it back and forth there. Now, when we get down to the palm swell, okay, I'll bring you over, bring it a little bit closer so you can see it. But the palm swell, this here's, for me, this is the critical part. And the SureForm is the tool I use for that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically round off my corners in here with the SureForm. And I'm also starting up high and coming into the handle. Okay, so I'm giving it that fawn's foot sweep out so that your hand will stop there. Doesn't take too long with this SureForm. It cuts really aggressively, which I like. Okay, so now I'm going to take off this last little corner right here. And feather it right up into here. So it's nice and gradual. See. Okay, not bad. It's still, I find it's still just a whisker big. That's not bad. And then the third tool I use is this Nicholson. It's a crescent bastard wood rasp. Works phenomenal. So my handle just came a little loose. And then what I'll do is I'll finish it off with this. Okay, so this one here is what I'll use to finish it off. I'm just taking out all the imperfections in it. Okay. I'm rolling everything in so it's one nice continuous handle the whole length. Anytime I see a line or a mark or whatever, I'll roll it over and smooth it out. Now, another trick I'll tell you from the East Coast Lumberjack is when you have overhead lights, like I have a fluorescent light overhead here, when it shines down it lets me see where all the imperfections are in my handle. So it helps you an awful lot when you're finishing these to tell where wood has to come off. Now that's going to be a really nice fit once I get that done. So keep smoothing it here, all the way up. Now I'll tell you something now. Here's another little trick from the East Coast Lumberjack. If all of a sudden when you're using your bandsaw or you get some waves in your handle, okay, along the length of it this way, it needs to be nice and flat, nice and straight, okay, the whole way along here. If you don't have that, the best tool to use, because with a spoke shave, it's going to keep following the contours. What you need is something that's straight and hard, like that. The 10-inch SureForm, and all you're going to do is run it the length of the handle, like this. Okay, and what it'll do, because it's so flat and straight, it'll take out any of those bumps, the whole length of the handle. Okay, so it cuts down the high spots and it won't touch the low spots. There. Okay, so the SureForm is the best way to smooth those out. I'm going to go back to the wood rasp. We're just going to go up and finish it off at the top. There we go. So, and again, your hands, your fingers will tell you a lot about how smooth it is, how well it's shaped. So you can see that it's really starting to take form now here. Okay, no rough, jagged edges. It's nice and smooth, flows nice and pretty the whole way. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, and then we're going to hang it. So this will likely be a 3-part series. It's going to get too long if I do the hanging here as well. Same thing, I'm going to roll this edge in, and you can see I'm tightening that up just a little bit, okay? This one's going to go this way. Bring it down from the top. Okay. Nice and smooth the whole way along there. That's good. We'll bring in this shoulder. Round out the back. So I make my front gradual and I make my back rounded. Okay, so that's what gives you the round in the back and then a gradual in the front. So that's what gives you that egg shape or the oval. Okay. Just like that, round it at the back. Now the grain changes here, so we're going to flop around. I'm going to give it a little bit more rounding back here. It's quite square back here. I'm going to round that out more. Like that. There. That's feeling like an axe handle. Right. Little thick up here. I can feel that. You see this? See this grain? You may not be able to see it, but there's a grain that stops right here. Okay, and I've talked about these before. Okay, so there's the grain that stops right there. So that what it does, it comes up and then it jumps up that grain. Okay, so when it rides up like that, of course, it makes it a little bit thicker there, and I can feel it with my hands. So I've got to take it's wider up here, so I've got to take that down. Okay, so that growth ring is disappearing. There we go. There, so now it's the same. Now it's the same thickness the whole way up there. Just like that. The hands will tell you. Hands will tell you a lot. Hands will tell you more than your eyes. Okay? Round that out in the front a little bit more. There. Walk around this way. There we go. Now Now we're back to the SureForm to finish up the bottom end of it here. Okay, let's take a look down here so you can see it. Right there. Now we're going to do the other side. Same thing, slope it off at the front. And run this belly part right through here a lot so it scoops it out for you, gives you a nice fawn split. Yep. This up right here. I'll put the bevel around it, but there. So now I can feel it. Really nice feel, okay? So we're almost there. We're almost there. This is what it's looking like. Okay. So quite even. Okay, let's see. I don't know, that light's kind of bizarre. It's good for some things, but it's not good for showing you. There we go. Okay. The grain, it runs really true in the sax handle. Okay, so I'm going to finish up. So this is part 2. This is the shaping. Okay, and this is the new, I don't know what we'll call it. I have to call it the Blanche. Or whatever his, we'll come up with a name for it. But whatever his axe is for that. But it's kind of a sweet handle with that sweep. Okay, so I'm going to clean that up. We'll come back for part 3, and I'll show you finishing this up, and then how to hang it. Now, before I go, one thing I do with hickory, and where's my moisture meter? Right here. So we're getting into late fall, early winter here. So of course it changes your moisture in your building. So let's turn on the moisture meter and check this handle out. Okay, 11% moisture. Okay, it's in the bottom here. Might give me a reading there. 7% at the top. Okay, so 7% at the top, 11% at the bottom. Okay, so we know we could lose up to 5% moisture out of the rest of this handle. If that happens, you're going to get checks. Okay, because hickory is so dense, when the moisture starts coming out of it, there's going to be a split in that somewhere. So another tip from the East Coast Lumberjack. Once I cut a handle out on the bandsaw, and it's going to be laying here on the bench, the next thing I will do, while it's fresh, is I'll take my linseed oil. Okay, the old double-boiled linseed oil. And what I'll do, you don't have to worry about it so much up at the wedging end, because at the wedging end, you've got the split in the slot for that. But what I'll do, I'm going to put that boiled linseed oil all over the bottom. Okay, and it seals it. We all know that water and oil don't get along. One repels the other. So if I put that on the end, that'll seal it and keep that from checking. Okay, neat tip from the East Coast Lumberjack. So that's stage number 2. Come back next week for part number 3. We're going to show you how to finish this off and hang it.